Hello, and welcome to another episode of Heart Wild Podcast. I am so delighted today to be sitting here with author and cancer patient advocate, Chris Joseph. Hello, and welcome.
Hi, Carrie. Thanks for having me on. Much appreciated.
Oh, it's so good to see you again. I like to start these conversations with how you and I met. Would you like to share that story?
Sure, happy to. Summer of 23, last summer. I live in Portland part-time. I'm usually there for 3 or 4 months in the summers. And I've been practicing yoga for 27, 28 years. And so I don't remember how I came across the info on your class at Selwood Park. But once I saw it and it was outdoors and right near a beautiful river, that I'm doing this. So that's how we met last summer at one of your classes.
Yeah, but we had a good connection. Like you were one of the first persons to come consistently. I could actually have you help set up. So it was more than just coming to my class. I think we really had a really nice connection. So
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
yeah, it's good to reconnect with you again.
Likewise, likewise. And I'm looking forward to coming back. I hope you're doing the summer beach or summer river yoga this year.
We've got a lot of new stuff coming up. I'm being secretive about it, but there's more stuff to unveil.
Okay.
Summer. um, so this is a podcast about people's and their life's path and how they found it. And your story is a little different than anyone else I've interviewed yet. So if you don't mind, would you share with us how you found your life path and what your life path is?
Happy to. So 7.5 years ago in October of 2016, I was diagnosed with third stage pancreatic cancer. And even today, when I say pancreatic cancer to people, I still get the drop jaws, and especially because 50% of pancreatic cancer patients are dead within 3 months. I think 70% are dead within a year, and 90% are dead within 5 years. And I'm in my 8th year, and I'm not just surviving; I'm thriving. I'm actually living a great life. In fact, even a better life than before. And so that's the backstory. And it led to me finding my mission. Took many decades, but it led to me finding my mission. I should say I did a lot of alternative healing, a lot of alternative modalities, because Western medicine at first was not working for me. And so my mission now, I've become a cancer coach, patient advocate in the last year and a half. My mission now is to get the word out and to help people, to let them know there are options beyond standard of care, beyond Western medicine. I have my opinions on Western medicine. Some of it I like, some of it I don't, but I don't impose my viewpoints on other people. I just offer options for people and help them get healthy, because really that's the bottom line, is to helping them get healthy. So yeah, that's my mission now.
So to be able to be diagnosed with that and to hear those words, because you said stage 3, is that right? So
Yeah.
that's not an early detective. That's well developed. And
Yeah.
yeah, and knowing the odds, I mean, that obviously right there was a major pivot in your life. Like,
Oh, it
oh now.
was. Am I allowed to cuss on this podcast?
Absolutely, yes.
It scared the shit out of me when I got diagnosed. I wasn't having severe symptoms. I had some stomach discomfort, but not pain, that had been going on for 2 or 3 months. And I thought maybe I had a virus, a lingering virus. I had some concurrent depression, which was odd because my life was going really well. But it turns out that depression is sort of, for pancreatic cancer in particular, is a warning sign to the body, or from the body, that something is wrong. So those are the only two symptoms. The depression was actually worse, and I didn't know what it was from. But to get the diagnosis of cancer, let alone pancreatic cancer, let alone third stage, yeah, I wasn't ready for that at all. it completely shocked me. It was, I mean, it was on Halloween Day, October 31st of 2016, and it was, uh, yeah, I'm going to say it was the worst day of my life. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but in a way, it was, well, I should say, what were you like before? Like, I mean, how did that, it turned your life around? So you were one person who went through this experience, and now you're this other person with purpose. So let's talk about that, how who you were and how you became. Mm.
Sure. I mean, I think that, people ask me that all the time. How has this changed you? And they were asking me that early on, like in the first units, and I really didn't have a good answer back then. I hope I have a better answer now, but let me see if I can articulate it. Um, I am much more grateful now,
Mm.
much more grateful every day. I mean, I consider myself lucky, but I've also worked my ass off to stay healthy. So it's not just luck. Um, but I'm grateful. I'm much better at relationships. I have two boys. They were 14 and 12 when I got diagnosed. They're 21 and 19 now. I mean, I had a good relationship with them before, but I have a much, much better relationship with them now. Um, my love relationships got deeper, got better. It's not up to me to decide whether I became a better person. That's for other people to judge. But I do feel like I became a better person after all this and getting through it. Um, and as I said, it led me to probably being less. I mean, it's human nature sometimes for all of us to be selfish. That's just, sometimes we have to be selfish. But I'm far less selfish than I used to be, and just more mindful of trying to help other people and trying to give them the gift of what I've learned.
So would you say that your life path is maybe taking your experience of beating cancer and being able to be advocate for others and help them beat cancer because you feel that there's ways that it can be done?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of the things, so I'm glad you used that terminology because most people do about beating cancer. I don't even use that term, and I'm not being critical because everyone does it. In fact, I did it for a long time. I look at it as, and so I don't use the term fighting cancer or he's in the boxing ring with cancer or beating cancer. I don't use the terms in remission. What I do is what I say is living with cancer. I still have, well, I haven't had a scan in over 2 years now, but there might be still a small tumor in there, but my body, I'm in much better shape. My immune system's great. I work out like crazy. I eat much better. I'm better at my relationships. I've cut out toxics in my life, try to lower stress, deal with past traumas. Um, and it's an ongoing process. It's not like I've done all this and now I'm done. I mean, but um, when I work with cancer patients, I talk about how to get healthier. I don't talk about let's beat cancer, because the connection is if they get healthier, it's going to reduce their risk of having bad outcomes from cancer. And if I can work with someone who hasn't had cancer, hopefully I can help them prevent cancer. So I that's part of my work also is to work with the languaging,
Mm.
because it's part of like no beating cancer, like fighting cancer. Who wants to fight with their body? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's stuff, you teach the same thing, basically. You don't want to fight your body. You want to be gentle to your body and treat it with respect and have it as part of, your mind, body, spirit. Yeah, so I'm glad you gave me that opportunity to mention that because that's all part of what I'm trying to do.
Well, and that's beautiful. I mean, that's a whole new perspective on taking ownership to your wellness, your well-being. And so I'm going to correct myself. Your life path is coaching people how to thrive with cancer and how to thrive in life by taking
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. What most of the cancer organizations, not just the pancreatic cancer organizations, but almost all of them, they look at survival statistics, and I think that bar is so low. I mean, let's up it. Let's shoot for something. Let's shoot for something higher. To me, surviving. Sorry, my dog's barking. I hope that doesn't get picked up on the recording. Um, I look at thriving as something that's the goal. That's the goal, to really live life. Um, when I think of surviving, I think of someone, I know this is not universally true, but I think of, just holding on and maybe still in bed, or really struggling with their illness. And that's too low of a bar. I want to work with people who want to really get better,
Want to
really
live.
get better,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
want to live. Yeah, that's a great way of saying it. Who want to live.
Because being well is more than just being absent of disease or any injury. I mean, that's not being healthy if you just because you don't have a cold. It's the whole well-being. How is that package doing? How is it feeling? And how are you able to navigate that is wellness. Yeah. And it is a mind body.
Completely.
Hmm.
So if I can bring up something, and I know you're going to wonder why I'm bringing up COVID, and I don't bring up COVID to talk about in any way the controversial things. I don't talk about masks or vaccines or lockdowns or anything like that, because it's so triggering for people. But what I do talk about with COVID is that COVID shined a light on how unhealthy this country is, and that's another. So I'm not just working with people who have cancer. I want to work with people who to help them get healthy. So the next time we have a pandemic, and we will, whether it's in 10 years or 100 years or whatever, we can be in better shape to withstand a really nasty virus. And I don't think that this is getting beyond probably what you wanted to interview me about, but I don't think this country, and it's not a political thing, I don't think this country on all sides of the political spectrum did a very good job at helping our populace get healthy. And I think that's really what it pointed out to me, is that we need to do it from the bottom up, not from the top down.
Hmm.
Um,
We in the way our systems are set up currently right now, you do have to be an advocate for your own wellness. And
Completely.
yeah, we don't, it's, we have adjusting to do before we can actually make this community one that's it's everyone's involved in. But I think we're getting there. But no, I think we definitely have to be an advocate for our own wellness.
1,000% agree. In fact, I get asked all the time. The most common questions I ask are, "What did you do?" and or "Give me your top number one tip." And there's really never a good answer. But one possible good answer is that I do tell this to people, is take charge of your health, and which is exactly what you said. You use some different words for it, but it's the same thing. Whether it be an advocate for your health, take charge of your health.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Question doctors, question your healthcare team. Look for alternatives. Look at alternative treatments. Talk to naturopaths. Talk to integrative doctors. I think Western medicine. Can I get preachy for a minute?
You can do whatever you want.
Um,
Your time.
so, so about up until a month ago, I lived in Santa Monica for decades and decades. And about a year and a half ago, I was walking on the beach in Santa Monica, and I stepped on something in the water that I didn't see, and it hurt like hell. It really, really hurt. It had me doubled over, and pain as it does, it subsided. It didn't go away, but it subsided. I continued my walk, and about 2 nights later, I was laying in bed, middle of the night, and my foot started swelling up. And I thought, this isn't good. And so I drove myself to the emergency room, and they asked me how I had hurt the foot. And I told them. They said, "Oh, yeah, you stepped on a stingray." And so it made perfect sense. They gave me antibiotics, and a week later, I was fine, totally fine. I think Western medicine is really good for that kind of thing. Really, really good. I mean, if I'm in a car accident, take me to a hospital. Western medicine does amazing things with eye surgeries. I mean, I've had cataract surgery. I don't wear glasses. Um, if you have sports injuries, Western medicine is great. But I think with chronic illness, they don't do so great. And I think that's where people have to get healthier. And as we just talked about, take charge of their health. Because I don't think that's going to change from the top. I
Mm,
really don't.
it's too embedded. We could go into this deep. This is a whole nother, we could go into this whole conversation, like what's with the
Yeah.
system. But yeah, it's it's just what it is. And we to accept that this is the situation. Like, we can't rely on the outer systems to give us the best care possible. And just accept that,
Yeah.
be at peace with it, no judgment, just what the situation is. And then to keep your own peace, you turn inward and you say, I can't control what they do, but what can I control myself? And that just puts you
Yeah.
in an empowered situation for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way of putting it.
So, so you went through a lot of shit, which ended up
Yeah.
being the worst day of your life, ended up in a way became the best day of your life because it
Yeah.
transformed you into someone that has purpose and is able to help others. You found your path. But sometimes, we can be like, ta-da, we just don't show up and say, hi, I'm on my path and we're all set. There's going to be times when we're going to doubt ourselves, or it's hard to stay on course. So what is your motivation?
Mhm.
What's your true deep motivation to like stay on your path, stay on your course?
Yeah. I'm going to answer it two ways because I'm going to circle back to said about that it turned out to be the best day, even though it was the worst. It was also the worst day. It did turn out to be the best day, but um, the part of the story I didn't say is that I did chemotherapy for the first 4 months after I got diagnosed, and it was not working. My tumors were growing, um, and chemo, most people would agree, is really hard. I mean, it's poison basically. And so in March of 2017, I quit chemo, and I had no plan B at that point, but I was just so miserable. So my misery started in October of 2016, and things actually got worse for those first 4 months, and I really thought I was going to die. And the statistics kind of showed that I probably should have died had I continued on chemo. But quitting chemo, and then that was actually the best day, um, because it opened up a world of possibilities that I just really wasn't all that aware of. So I said I had two ways of answering your question. Now I forgot. Did you ask me how do I stay on my mission? How do I,
And stay, but the kind of like how do you keep your course? What's the motivation that keeps you driving?
yeah, I mean, I will tell you, and I've said this to other people too, that I am filled still with doubts. I don't know how long you've been teaching yoga. I think it's been a while. Um, but my guess is you're a whole lot better yoga teacher now than the first day you started teaching yoga. And I'm still new at the cancer coaching patient advocacy role. Um, just being honest, once in a while, I still have some that the imposter syndrome. Like, oh my God, what am I doing? Or I don't know anything. Or why are these people coming to me? Or I mean, people are coming to me with life-threatening situations, and so that's a little heavy too. But what keeps me grounded is I think it's a couple of things. One, I know my story is powerful because not too many pancreatic cancer patients are still around like I am. So I know it's a good story. It provides hope to people, not just with pancreatic cancer, but with all types of cancers and even some other chronic illnesses. I guess really what keeps me grounded or keeps me motivated is I know my story is not a fluke. It is not a fluke. Yeah, I've worked my ass off to get here. And every day I work my ass off. I work out. I'm in a infrared sauna every day. I'm doing yoga, 20 minutes of yoga every day. Um, I have to watch what I eat, and I'll have to watch what I eat for the rest of my life. It's a lot of work to be healthy and to stay healthy, but I know it works. I know it works. And I've met other people who have gone through maybe not necessarily pancreatic cancer, but other types of illnesses or other cancers, and it's worked for them too. And so that's what keeps me going. Like, I think I said this at the start of the recording, that I just want people to know they can choose whether or not they want to pursue it or not. That's their personal choice, and I will respect whatever choice people make. But I at least want them to know they have options. I really do.
Mm. And I couldn't agree more as far as, taking that motivation of like, I know if I do this, it will make sure I'm in a better place. If I wake up in the morning and I'm off kilter and I'm just not right, I know that my 20 minutes of yoga is going to turn me around and put me, I know it's like we've done it enough that if you don't have those healthy habits, if you slip back into our comfort old habits,
Hmm.
it is, I mean, we do that. We're human, and that's okay. There's no judgment. We get to treat ourselves with
Right.
grace. But when I'm like, okay, I'm done with this, I'm done being in this space where I'm doing too many bad habits. I know I can turn to my good habits, and they're going to make me feel so much better. And that's stability, having that peace of mind, knowing that this is going to help me.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I will give you several exclamation points on what you just said. It's that's all true. This stuff works. And I will add that yeah, I'm not perfect. There are days I mean, I'm overall, I live more healthy than I used to. Um, but nobody's perfect. And when I coach people, I don't ask them to be perfect. I ask them to do better. I ask them to see if they want to do better. And better is different for everyone, right? Um, some people can work out for an hour a day. Some people might have trouble getting up out of bed. So then the request to them is, can you get out for 5 minutes and maybe get some fresh air for a couple of minutes? Um, so that's everyone is different. There's no magic formula, but the equation, if I'm saying this the right way, the equation is getting healthy in a natural way only helps, and there are no side effects whatsoever.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I suppose if I take a yoga class and I'm not mindful of my movements and I wreck my knee or something, that's possible. But generally there are no side effects.
But if you get hurt doing yoga, you're not practicing yoga. As I've said many, many times, because the
Good.
number
Yes.
line in yoga is ahimsa, which means no harm. So there is no side effect of yoga except
Fair
for
enough. See, you're teaching me now, which I appreciate. Fair enough. Yeah, I like that.
so this has been such a really good conversation. If you had one wish, like people listening in here, and you want them to have one takeaway from this conversation, what is that one takeaway you want them to have?
That's a great question. I think I've said it already. Um, well, let me see if I can say it differently. So we hear stories way too often of cancer patients. I'll just focus on cancer patients right now who aren't doing well, and their doctors actually tell them, you have like 6 months to live. Um, and I've talked to doctors about that. I think it's incredibly irresponsible for doctors to say that. What I think doctors should be telling patients, if a patient isn't doing well, they shouldn't necessarily give them false hope. They shouldn't lie to them. But what they could say is, I don't know anything else I can do for you. Because that would be honest, right? That would be really, really honest. I don't know anything else I can do for you, but you might want to explore different doctors, different naturopaths, different treatment modalities, and give them hope. Give them hope. And I think that's also what I want to do. I want to give people hope. I want to give them hope that cancer is avoidable. I will add 9 out of 10 cancers are not hereditary. So something's causing them, whether it's our lifestyles, air we're breathing, water we're drinking, exposure to toxins, traumas, um,
All of it.
all of it, bad eating habits, not moving, Americans have become way too sedentary. So it's all correctable.
Mhm.
It's all correctable. It's hard, it's harder on a societal problem for people who can't afford healthy food, because healthy food is more expensive than cheap processed food. So that's a problem that we may have to address top down or through the political system. But generally, I know I've taken a long time to answer your question. I want to give them hope, and I want to give them options, and I want to teach them that there are things that they can do. They don't have to be passive in their health journeys.
Yeah, yeah, because if you don't have hope, then you have nothing to motivate you to have any act.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I can think of nothing less hopeful than a doctor giving a patient 6 months to live. That's horrible.
yeah, yeah.
Horrible.
Because because in a mindful perspective on that, we can't go in the past and change anything. We can't live in the future. So by giving that timeline to someone, you're putting their mindset into the future, which they have no control of. And so instantly they're just creating anxiety and a sense of, they lose their inner peace and they're less, sense of stability. And so it's anyway, not even doctors, but
Yeah.
any future projection. Stop it. Be here now.
Be
Yeah,
here now.
be here now in
There
the
you go.
immediate. Yes, let's take care of what we can now. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
if someone were to if you wanted to describe your message in one word, what would that be? And I think we just discussed it.
It's hope.
Yeah,
Hope.
yeah, that's what I think.
Um, hope can take in a lot of other words, but if you're asking me for one word, hope. Yeah.
Describe your message. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for this conversation today. I think a lot of people will be inspired on just your story and how you found your path, and because you found your path, you have uncaged your heart and you are living your
Yeah.
best. So thank you so much for being here. Oh, actually, before one more thing, if people want to be in contact with you, know more about you, what's the best way they can be in touch?
So there's a few ways. They can email me, which is my name, Chris Joseph at Mac, like the computer.com. People can find me on Facebook. I think right now it still says Chris Joseph in Santa Monica. On Instagram, it's MR for Mr. Chris Joseph. My website is trainnavigators.com. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to find me. And I love talking to people. That's what I do now. I talk to people a few hours every day.
Oh, well, hey, if anyone is interested, we encourage them to reach out and talk to you. And we also will make sure that all that information is in the notes so that if people don't catch it, it'll be there for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much. And until next time.